Hey guys, welcome back to Rico Rides. Today's video is the Mirror Lake Road Race in Camas, Utah, including the climb up to what's called Mount Baldy. Okay, more about the race and the climb, but first here I am at the front of my group, heading into the mountains, and boom, just like that, dropped after about a half hour. The first part of the race, we started at a school, and we looped the town of Camas. So that's about 5 miles. Then as soon as we head into the mountains, my group hits it really hard. I get dropped pretty quick. In past years, my group has been pretty gentle at this part, and but I've never been with the Cat 123's Masters. Anyways, this other guy that also got popped off, we try to work together, kind of going back and forth, but then we get caught by the Cat 123's. So these are the fastest guys that left 5 minutes behind us, behind my group. And they caught us. And in this group, I just passed one of my teammates, Sam, on zone 5. Here's another teammate, Bobby. And then, but this group, there's about a dozen or so. Towards the front is, I guess, Torben Road. He's with the Lifetime Grand Prix Series, currently in 5th. As of August 2024. So he's having a good season, and he showed up, and yeah, the Cat 123s were excited. I got to ride with him as long as I could. I held on here maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. And then I was glad to be behind some group, at least for some of the way. But yeah, just not... my fitness isn't quite enough to hang on to them for good. But, so yeah, we're kind of like this first, when you go in, so it's the Mirror Lake Highway, the climb up to Mount Baldy, Strava segments sometimes label it as Highway 50 climb in the high Uintas in Utah. And yeah, it's kind of a long climb. Here I am caught by another group, and this is actually my teammate as well on zone 5, Kevin. So yeah, I'm happy to see that these guys. Hopefully I can hold on for a while is what I'm thinking. But yeah, they're at a pretty good pace too. So I don't last too long once we hit a little steeper. But yeah, the climb is from the town to the very top of the summit. And yeah, so there I am dropped. It takes me almost 2 hours. So yeah, it's totally total is 30 miles from the town to the top, and average is only 2.8%. So not that much. It's kind of rollers. But then the last 10 miles, it gets a little steeper. Last 10 miles is 4.6%. And you climb 2,236 feet in those just under 10 miles. And yeah, so I found a few guys to work with as we're getting into the steeper parts of the climb. But yeah, and beautiful. You pass by a couple lakes, hence the name Mirror Lake. And here we are. This is probably the last, I don't know, maybe a mile left. But you can kind of see, there it is, Mount Baldy's right directly ahead. So we're getting there. And yeah, just the climb itself this time took me 59 minutes. My best was 3 years ago, 49 minutes. Torben set the KOM this year at 35 minutes for just this. Actually, it's a 9.2 mile climb. So yeah, have a pro, and he sets a pretty fast KOM. So the actual road when we hit the summit is 10,700 feet. So it's one of the highest paved roads in Utah, maybe the highest, I'm not sure. And then if you were to hike up to the Mount Baldy peak, it's almost 12,000 feet there. But so I see these couple cyclists here. I'm thinking I can catch up to them, maybe descend with them, but get up there and yeah, I'm able to go by them. at this point feeling pretty good, rejuvenated that I'm hitting the peak. It's actually not the peak, and it's kind of a, you go down a little bit and then you climb a little further, but basically this is what's considered the segment, the climb, the actual climb. And so, yeah, but this is a great event that I do every year. It happens at the end of July, and it's 150 miles put on by my buddy Troy. And so I've always come and support his race. Actually, the first time we did it was 2020. You know, there wasn't a lot of events, so he just like had this idea for a route, and a bunch of us came and did it. And Troy, and he had some family come and support us, and so it was really fun. So I've been doing it ever since 2020. But yeah, the total time is like, yeah, in 2021 was my best. I did it just under 7 hours. Today, going mostly solo, like 100 miles solo, it took me 7:48, basically 7 hours 48 minutes. But again, it was a fun day, and I just felt good energy, even though I didn't stay with the group that long and didn't have a lot of people to ride. But I rode at my own pace, so you know, not as like mentally grueling and taxing. So it was an enjoyable day. I liked it. But yeah, you can still get beautiful views here. Again, beautiful route, forest, lakes. What more could you want? So yeah, here I am, and there's still nobody to work with, but beautiful views. Lost the group pretty early. Thought that might happen, but found a couple groups to work with, but now I'm all alone. No man's land, and it's windy. Nobody to work with. Mile 56. Long way to go solo if it's the case. Yeah, it was a long way to go solo, as I said, but still, overall, a great day in the saddle. Here we are. So the route takes, you kind of go from Camas and you go through the mountains, go north to Evanston, Wyoming. And here I am getting into Evanston, and here's my first stop. So this is about mile 83, about 4 hours later. First stop is kind of what I planned. I carried 3 bottles, 2 on the bike and then 1 in my back pocket. So I stay there, maybe like 8 minutes, I don't know. Just refill my bottles, and I found this group that I'm like, hey, somebody, great. So follow them out of town, and then we head back down south, making our way back to Camas. Working with these guys, and I think these are kind of Fondo guys, so they're not pushing the pace too much. So I go ahead of them and just kind of figure I'll go faster solo. Then we get a little rain, which ended up being a great day. I mean, it was cloud cover most of the day, so it didn't get too hot. Usually it gets really hot. And then the worst part of the course, or my least favorite, is this gravel. There's like 6 mile gravel section. And I'm used to doing it with, like, you know, being in the group, and it's hot and dusty and everything. This was the opposite. So it was my favorite gravel year, I guess. You know, it was kind of a little bit of rain, kept the dust down. I was all by myself, so nobody to kick up the dust in my face. So actually, I enjoyed this part too. It was, I'm telling you, it was a great, awesome day for me. Yeah, and then finally get out of the gravel, get back to the pavement. I find a guy. Whoa, this guy looks like he's in shape. I'm going to be, you know, sailing to the finish. But after a couple miles trading turns with him, he's like, I'm like, are you going to stop again? He's like, yeah, I got to stop, and I'm going to drop anyway. So I guess he was kind of struggling, which yeah, I know that. Been there, done that. But yeah, at this point, I'm looking at 40 miles left, and they do have another rest stop, but I planned it out. I planned out my water, had plenty of food, have a little bag on my top bar that I keep extra food just in case. So it ended up working out perfect that way. Went through those 3 bottles just with the one stop, made it, or 6 bottles total for the day, but with the one stop, and I think I maybe had like 1 goo at the end. So planned out my food perfectly. Yeah, we go by reservoir here, Rockport Reservoir, I believe. And then here's the last little bit. I mean, we're like maybe 10, 15 miles from the finish. Go through this little town. And again, all alone, but yeah, like the end's in sight. And so I'm thinking, when I first knew that I was going to be going solo on the climb or after the climb, I was like, I'm gonna go 100 miles by myself. It's gonna take me like 9 or 10 hours. But I get here, and right now under 8 hours is still in sight. And this event's kind of cool. Troy has it set up where he has medals for each, for how fast you finish. So at this pace, under 8 hours, I'd get a silver. So it makes it kind of fun for Fondo type thing. But yeah, here's the finish. I made it. And actually feeling pretty good. Kept my energy up, didn't bonk. And here we are back to the school. The finish is a couple miles from the start. So here I'm getting back to the start at the school. But yeah, it's a great event. They have Fondo groups and race categories. So thanks for watching. And right on.